Comment ça va? How y'all doing today? You know, I have been telling stories all across the South, but this is the first time I get to tell stories in my own backyard. Because I was born and raised not 2 miles from here. So it's like family coming to see me. And I love when family comes to visit. You see, my mama was the youngest of anywhere between 16 and 21 kids, depending on who was counting. Because Granny had some, Papa had some, and together they had a whole bunch more. So it's pretty easy to see them losing count, you know. Well, we lived with my Granny and Papa. So we were kind of family central, and everybody would come visit us. And I love when people come to visit with us. I especially love when my Aunt Eileen would come to visit. And not just because she gave me a quarter each time she came. I mean, I really liked to visit with her, although the extra cash was a nice bonus. I couldn't say Aunt Eileen when I was little. I call it Tante Lean. And it's kind of funny when I grew up, because if there's anything that she wasn't, it was lean, if you know what I mean. You know, my mama said she had big bones, and that meant she was. A lot of people hear what I know. I'm gonna be careful what I'm saying. My mama said she had big bones, so she had big bones, and they were heavy bones too. I mean, every time she leave, when she come to visit, my granny would tell my daddy, bring that chair what you was sitting into the shop and tighten it up, you know, because it was loose like change in the collection plate at church, y'all. Now, she come visit a lot, so the chairs got looser and my piggyback got a little bit fatter, you know, but Daddy got kind of tired tightening up those chairs, so he thought he was gonna fix it. He got himself some fence posts and cut them down to size and nailed them underneath that chair behind the rear leg, so it looked just like a real chair, but man, that was a strong chair, yeah. It wasn't gonna get loose. It was so strong, he used it as a jack stand to hold up the back end of his pickup truck when he was fixing the rear end. If that can hold up the rear end of a Ford pickup truck, that can hold the rear end of any pickup truck. And it was heavy. One time Daddy had to put some new linoleum down in the bathroom, you know. So he used that chair to weight down the linoleum. And man, that chair was so heavy, we couldn't even move it. I'm telling you. Oh man, and we really needed to move it, if you know what I mean. My mama told us, y'all go outside if y'all need to do that. She didn't want us standing on the chair, you know. But anyway, it was so heavy we couldn't move it, so Daddy fixed it. He put some felt or something under the legs so we could push it around and we could slide it around. Oh, that was nice. You could slide it from room to room. And then Granny said, and Eileen is coming to visit. I said, ooh, get ready. Daddy said, you in charge of that chair. You make sure she sits in that chair and bring it to wherever she is. So, Tony come to visit, Uncle Leo, it was fun, we were having fun. They go to the living room, and I pull up the chair. I said, Tony, you want to sit down? She said, oh, thank you, you're so sweet, you're such a gentleman. And Granny smiled at me, and Daddy smiled at me, and Uncle Leo, he smiled at me too. And then Granny said, y'all should come see my Christmas cactus on the porch. So they all go out on the porch, and they're looking at our Christmas cactus. Then I realized they're gonna sit down. So I grabbed that chair and slid it out to the porch. And sure enough, they go to sit down. I said, Tony, you want a chair? She said, oh, thank you very much. And she smiled at me, and Granny smiled at me, and my daddy smiled at me. And Uncle Leo shot me a look like, the stink eye. And then Granny said, let me go check on supper. So they all go in the kitchen. I know what that means when they go in the kitchen. I grabbed that chair, I slid it in there. Sure enough, everybody goes to sit down. I said, Tony, you want to sit down? She said, thank you, you are such a gentleman. And she smiled at me, and Granny smiled at me, and Daddy smiled at me, and Uncle Leo gave me a look. Oh, he could have cut me in half with them sharp eyes. And then I realized, I bet that old man thinks I'm trying to angle for another quarter, yeah. Well, nothing could be further from the, well, yeah, something could be further from the truth. I mean, let's face it, the extra cash would be nice, but I was just listening to what my daddy was saying. So she sat down, and sure enough, supper was ready. She said, everybody, let's go sit at the table. We're going to bring all the food in there. So I slide that chair into the dining room, and as she's fixing to sit down, I'm pushing that chair, and it stops dead. I mean, it is cold. It's not going to push no more. And I'm wondering what's going on, and I look up, And Uncle Leo has his hand on the back of that chair, stopping me. He says, I got it. I said, oh no, sir, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I got it, son, let go. Now I had to figure out who I'm going to disobey, my Uncle Leo or my daddy. I figured I get by my daddy pretty good. Uncle Leo, I'm not too sure about it. So I let the chair go. And I watched him. He didn't push the chair, no. He tried to pick it up. And I was like, no, you don't have to do it. He looked at me, shut up. I backed off. He lifted it, couldn't do it. So he reached down with both hands and picked that thing up about a half an inch and wallowed right on the trampoline and pushed that chair in. I finally let out my breath and said, okay, that's good, that's fine. But then he went to his chair and I watched as he leaned down and grabbed that chair, and I thought, uh-oh, he thinks that chair's heavy too. Now the next few things probably happened in a blink of an eye, but to me it was like they was in slow motion. That chair come up so fast it hit the table. The table went up on two legs, and everything what was on top of the table was on the floor. We talking pork roast, we talking gravy, we are talking sweet potato casserole and all the brown and serve rolls. Boom, they gone. But that didn't stop. That chair kept going. It hit the light fixture above the table. It looked like a fireworks show inside the house. There was sparks all over the place and glass flying everywhere. But wait, it still didn't stop. It went over Uncle Leo's head and got right into the china cabinet. We heard a giant crash, and then we heard a sonic boom. Boom! Taunt Ling was on the floor. Well, everybody come running around the table to help her up. And I'm standing there not knowing what's going on. And Uncle Leo's standing there saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And Granny says, don't worry about it. Tommy's going to clean all this up. And I did too. But you know what the worst part was? I never got my quarter.